2023 was another fantastic year for shooters, and for part 2 of the Game Wisdom Awards for Best of 2023, we're going to be talking about a whole lot of them. From the boomers, to the jumpers, to the sliders, to just, well, going boom all over the place. Our first runner-up is El Paso Elsewhere, the hip-hop horror-infused and inspired by Max Payne take. Fantastic story and excellent use of cutscene and voice acting to elevate the kind of story and experience. What keeps it from getting higher on the list is that it doesn't quite do anything new or original with the gunplay itself. If you've played Max Payne 1 or 2, you should have everything you need to play this one. I was hoping for, I think, a little bit more interesting shooting to go with the phenomenal story. Sadly, one of many longtime indie developers did go out this year, and one of them was Samurai Punk, who have made a variety of interesting unique games, and their last one is a kind of Devil Daggers meets almost like an Overkill style with Killbug, a game where you kill bugs. This is one that is all about the arcadey score chase, how long can you stay alive as the waves and waves get bigger and more escalating as things go on. As I've said, I'm not a huge fan of the score chasing Devil Dagger style. The gunplay and general combat is very well done. This is high skill play, but without having like some kind of additional engagement, I just kind of lost interest in it, and why it ends up in the runner-up spot. What do you get when your entire MO is just make it more over the top? You end up with Meat Grinder, a game where you will keep moving unless you will die, as you will kick, grapple, shoot, and just obliterate enemies as you are on convoys, planes, and more. This is one of those games where if the question is, can it go any more over the top? The answer is yes. Really solid gunplay. Definitely for the likes of Ultrakill, Turbo Overkill, Doom, anyone who likes their gunplay and movement play to be all over the place. While it is a phenomenal game, what keeps it from making it to the top 5 is that while the game was released, it didn't come with like all of its chapters, which are coming slowly but surely. So because it's not at kind of like a complete experience yet, it's unfortunately what's going to keep it from making it onto that part of the list. Since we don't have enough Souls-likes to go around to make a top 5, and with this one kind of involving more with shooting than stabbing, for the first of my favorite shooters of 2023, we're going with Remnant 2. The sequel to what I found was one of the most underrated Souls-likes of the past decade, combining gunplay with the challenge of a Souls-like. The sequel does a lot to almost completely invalidate the first game. The class designs are far better, there's a lot more in terms of builds and weapon diversity, more variety of the worlds and the procedural generation, and just all around what a sequel should be, improving all the aspects that worked in the first one, and removing or mitigating the issues that were also in it. It is just a fantastic game. Despite some of the difficulty spikes, especially if you're playing this solo, it's still one of the best examples of a more grounded or a slower paced shooter that still challenges you when things hit the fan and that giant boss starts shooting a death beam at you. So if you somehow missed this one and looking for a challenging third-person shooter or a Souls-like to play with a few buddies, very easy recommendation. The flip side of the chaotic and over-the-top coin of Meat Grinder that I mentioned earlier goes to Turbo Overkill for the next pick. This is the kind of sci-fi, a futuristic take if we're going to compare this to Ultrakill, a game where your leg quite literally has a chainsaw in it, and another example where things just get more and more over the top. I would also say that of this list, my big concern with this one is I don't feel the difficulty settings were as balanced compared to some of the other shooters we played. If you try to play this on the highest difficulty like I did, good luck. But if you're looking for a first-person shooter that really delivers on movement and gunplay, this is an easy recommendation. Just another great example of how developers of shooters have really evolved the genre over the last few years and go beyond just the strategy of circle strafe around while an enemy just stands there. Definitely not for someone who has very slow reflexes or looking for an easy time. But if you like your shooting to be stylish and striking, with a whole lot of synth to go with it, then you should definitely check this one out. We've seen many Doom likes, and Duke Nukem likes, and Blood likes, and all the mods based off of Doom and GZ Doom. But for the next pick of my best of list, we're going with HROT, a Quake-like inspired boomer shooter. Taking place in a European country during the 80s, things have gone very weird, as not only are soldiers and zombies out to get you, but also carousels, inanimate objects. Apparently at one point you have to fight Vladimir Putin. It's a very weird, wacky, and slightly disturbing shooter. Lots of secrets abound. You also learn some really great, I assume, recipes for various dishes, solid gunplay, and once again, a really great example of making a modern retro boomer shooter in a slightly different tone and feel to it, with multiple difficulty settings, multiple secrets, and a lot of weirdness to go around. This is definitely one if you're looking for a, European vacation to go with your boomer shooters. For number 4 and number 5 of this best of list, they both couldn't be further apart in terms of their gunplay, general feel, and tone. And the first one is going to be Dread Templar. This was a good old-fashioned boomer shooter with lots of metal, monsters, demons, and killing. What makes it get on the list is just a fantastic variety of level design, weapons, gunplay, and even its own progression with secrets, mega secrets, secrets in secrets, and all that. This is a game that you can play different ways based on how you build your various guns, with everything getting more and more over the top. While it doesn't quite hit the same heights as, say, Turbo Overkill or Meat Grinder, just a fantastic game all the way around with some really solid music as well. This of our list is the one that features, I think, the best in terms of like RPG progression or kind of having different upgrades and perks to go with your weapons. Still 100% a boomer shooter, but it's one that you can think at least a little bit more about whether you want your gun to shoot faster, do more damage, or turn into something else. So if you enjoy your boomer shooters and looking for a little bit more to go with them, then this is an easy recommendation for Dread Templar. And lastly, for the 5th of the best of shooters of 2023, we have Blood West, a game that combines the kind of grounded, old school shooting of, let's say, a hunt showdown with stealth sneaking and some light exploration RPGing of, say, a Stalker. A game that kind of goes multiple different ways in terms of its design and approach. It's one of those titles that I'm going to say in my upcoming review that you'll either really love it or you really won't. But I got into this one, especially with the diverse, unique weapons, being able to explore the world, and sneak up and stab lots and lots of monsters in the back. This is a title that you're going to get into this one not so much for all the shooting, but not so much for all the gunplay either, but somewhere in between. And it's for that unique factor and the just really solid elements in terms of progression and all that make it get to number 5. And it's one that I really want to see kind of what else a developer could do in the future with maybe expansion or another game in this style. Alright, and that is going to do it for Best Shooters of 2023. This is still only part 2, there's plenty more to go, so let me know what some of your favorite shooters were for this year, and which ones did I not mention that you now hate me for not covering. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to do the YouTubing stuff people tell you to do. If you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my books wherever they are sold. Visit our Discord and Patreon, and come back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom, where you some of the art and science of games.